So a quick scientific error in the Quran. In the Quran, it claims that meteors or shooting stars are the same thing as actual stars, and they are missiles that are fired by angels at jinni who are eavesdropping in heaven. Okay? The Quran states that shooting stars or meteorites are the same thing as stars, and they are missiles that are fired at jinni trying to eavesdrop in heaven. Where does it claim this? It claims this in Surah 67, verse 5. Yes, I will read what it says in the Quran. And we have certainly beautified the nearest heaven with lamps, i.e. stars, and have made from them what is thrown at the devils, and have prepared for them the punishment of the blaze. Okay? Now let us be clear. Where it says the nearest heaven in the Quran, Muslims understand this to mean that there are 7 heavens, and of them, the nearest heaven refers to the space above us, like the galaxy, all of the universe that we can access by a rocket. So that is the nearest heaven, okay? And it says that, and it also says in verse 15, it elaborates on this. In Surah 15 it elaborates. What it says in Surah 15 is, and we have placed within the heaven great stars, and have beautified it for the observers, and we have protected it from every devil expelled from the mercy of Allah, except one who steals a hearing. Steals a hearing means eavesdrop, by the way. Who steals a hearing and is pursued by a clear burning flame. Okay? So this is saying that shooting stars are the same thing as meteorites, and that these are being shot at jinni who are eavesdropping on heaven. Now, how we know that this is false is the fact that we have analyzed the trajectories of meteorites, and we know that they are simply rocks that are moving underneath the forces of gravity. They never change direction halfway through. We can predict their paths perfectly according to gravitational equations. The claim that the equivalence that is made in the Quran of stars and meteorites is also false. Shooting stars, aka meteorites, are not the same as stars. Meteorites are just rocks which travel through the atmosphere and and bits of dust behind them glow because of the speed at which they're traveling and the friction through the atmosphere. Whereas stars are gigantic balls of hydrogen and helium. So they are not the same. This is a scientific error in the Quran, and it is several places in the Quran. It's in Surah 67 verse 5, Surah 15 verses 16 to 18, and other places.
This person was sorry. Whatever you're saying, right, can be misinterpreted right here, how you read. Because there's verses, there's clear verses. Allah speaks about there's 2 types of verses. There's clear verses and there's ambiguous verses, meaning that only those, one second, mutashabihat ayats means that ambiguous verses not everyone can understand. So Allah says go to those who have knowledge. So if anyone has knowledge of specific things about the universe or the stages of how the baby is born, any scientific elements or anything that is unseen right here, not everyone is going to be clarified with that. So you need someone who has knowledge to explain that. You don't have the knowledge to explain that.
All right, that's a very good point. Thank you. What's your name? Zian? Okay. Ziad, sorry. Yeah, that's an excellent claim. So, or excellent point. So, Ziad has just pointed out, these verses might be unclear. Like, what if they're not actually referring to meteors? That's what you're driving at. Okay. And so, we can answer this question, though, by referring to Hadith, because there is a Sahih Hadith about this exact same issue, which makes it very clear. And please let me read this Sahih Hadith. This is Sahih Muslim, book 26, Hadith 5538, Classification, Sahih. No, sorry. I really want to provide this evidence to the crowd. Okay. Abdullah ibn Abbas reported, a person from Ansar who was amongst the companions of Allah's Messenger reported to me, as we were sitting during the night, Allah's Messenger, a meteor shot gave a dazzling light. Allah's Messenger, peace be upon him, said, "What did you say in the pre-Islamic days when there was such a shot?" They said, "Allah and his Messenger know best, but we, however, used to say that very night a great man had been born and a great man had died." Whereupon Allah's Messenger said, "These meteors are," in a minute, sir, "these meteors are shot neither at the death of anyone nor the birth of anyone." Yes. And he goes on to say, in this process of transmission, the jinn snatches what he manages to overhear and he carries it to his friends. And when the angels see the jinn, they attack him with meteors. So, the Quran is talking about meteors. No. I'm going to explain this. Yes, if they narrate only that which they manage to steal, that is correct. But they alloy it with lies and make additions to it. So, no, this is a Sahih Hadith which elaborates and explains these verses in the Quran. Yes, what's your question?
Jesus washed his ass. Do you wash your ass?
I don't worship Jesus.
Huh?
No.
What, you atheist? Who you worship then?
Agnostic.
Ah.
So, sir, what was your question?
So we turn to commentary.
You only need the clear verses to get your salvation.
It's all wrong. You're saying it's
You need to understand the clear verses
2,000 years ago,
for you to get
how many
salvation.
telescopes or whatever, what did they have? You're
Some
comparing
ambiguous
because
verses.
you're bringing time
You don't
over
need to know
2,000 years ago to
ambiguous
time
verses,
now. Now we can look in the sky.
Those
Could they
who
look
have
into the
knowledge
moon and
can
the sky and the stars then?
Whether it's 2,000 years ago or today, meteors work the same way. You know, whether it's 2,000 years ago or today, it remains false that jinnis are being shot at by meteors, because we can observe meteors and they don't change direction. They move under the law of gravity and we can predict their path. And so it is nonsense to believe that these meteors are really fiery missiles being shot at jinni. James.
Listen, I'm saying, I know what you're saying. You want to be righteous, you want to be truthful, right? Yeah? You want to say what is right, yeah? Hold on, brother.
I want to show Muslims that they have been misled and they believe in something incorrect.
I know.
I've spent the last hour or so explaining flaws in the Quran.
I'm saying this.
You're quite late, I'm afraid. I spent a long time talking.
Hold on.
I will repeat it.
Can I just say something? First of all, right, let's not be disingenuous. That's the common word they use in speakers for that. I'm saying the Book of Allah, the Quran, is the only source, the only guidance, and the only light. If we take other books here to explain this book, what was the point of him sending a book in the first place?
Why would Allah?
Listen, I'm a Quranist, so you can't give me that because I don't believe in that.
Okay.
You have to give me something better.
So my talk today is primarily directed at Muslims, particularly those who idolize the Salaf. And
I'm against that myself.
okay. So you know, I'm more. Yes, because the Salaf behaved in evil ways, and we should not. The Salaf behaved in evil ways in 600 AD.
680?
Yeah, when the Salaf were alive. The Salaf are the first 3 generations of Muslims, and they are idolized by Orthodox Sunni Muslims who call themselves Salafis. What they have done, which is evil, I will give you a very clear example. And the Salaf, in particular, the Salaf also idolize the so-called righteously guided caliphs, and these are the first 3 or 4 leaders of, 4, but some people say 5, but basically 4 leaders of the Muslims after Muhammad. And so what these righteously guided caliphs did, which was evil, was they invaded many lands around. After Muhammad died, they invaded many places. They committed aggressive wars. And one of the most heinous things they did was in the African kingdom of Makuria, which was in Nubia. And so I'm going to read about what happened there. The Baqt was a treaty between the Christian state of Makuria and the Muslim rulers of Egypt, lasting almost 700 years. It is by some measures the longest lasting treaty in history. Okay, the Baqt was signed after the 641 Muslim conquest of Egypt. That year, Abdullah ibn Abi Sa'd led an army south against the Christian kingdom of Nubia. Okay, some sections of the Baqt are clear, and it goes on to say the Arabs would not attack Nubia and the Nubians would not attack Egypt. The citizens of the two nations would be allowed to freely trade and travel between the two states. So this sounds okay, right? What's wrong with this treaty? And I'll tell you right now, the most important provision was that 360 slaves per year were to be sent to Egypt. These slaves had to be of the highest quality, meaning that the elderly and children were excluded. The slaves sent had to be a mix of male and female. In some reports, an extra 40 were due, which were distributed among notables in Egypt. So this agreement, which extorted slaves for 641 AD, and it lasted 700 years. I believe it was Uthman was the reigning caliph. It was either Uthman or it was the one before, not Abu Bakr. Yeah, I don't believe Ali was. Yeah, I don't think it happened during Ali's reign.
You're talking about
But if Ali did commit this, then I would denounce him as well. Okay. Yeah. So well, Ali didn't rescind this though. Ali didn't undo this though. He allowed it to happen during his reign. Yeah. Yeah, he did. Yeah, that is true. They did kill him. Okay, but anyway, I just want this to be one extremely egregious example of evil conduct by the so-called righteously guided caliphs. And so, if you call yourself a Salafi and you don't believe in slavery, you don't believe in enslaving innocent people, then stop calling yourself a Salafi, because the righteously guided caliphs were not righteously guided. They committed evil acts and they should be denounced.
That's all Sunnis, bro. That's all Sunnis.
Yes. Well, it's not all Sunnis. I believe it is mainly Salafis.
No, all Sunnis believe in the three righteous guided caliphs.
Well, yeah, but some focus on it though. Some are adamant.
This is what I'm saying to you. All Sunnis believe that Abu Bakr, Umar and Uthman are three rightly guided caliphs and are the three best after the Prophet.
Yeah, but some aren't aware, and I'm trying to make them aware now so that they stop.
Forget Muhammad had black slaves.
Yes. Yeah.
They're not Muslims called the Zionists. They're called the Zionist religion.
Yeah.
The Zionist God. And the Quran says the Jews are cursed with their monkeys. But why do you feel like this way to a curse for then? If I know you're cursed, I'm going to keep away from you.
Yeah.
They're two-faced hypocrites. They're actually two-faced hypocrites.
And I want to give.
They're actually two-faced
And I want to give. I want to give some more examples of how the Salafis are bad.
He had black slaves. He had black slaves because of the business.
You made a statement. Yes? Yes. Okay. My statement is, can I finish, please? Okay, no problem. Slavery was managed as well and introduced by the Christians and the Jew at that time. The Christian and the Jew used slavery as a trading.
Does it make it right?
Agree.
Does it make it right?
I agree. No problem. I ask you a question. So don't criticize the Salaf first. You have to. Sorry, because it was at the time.
And I will criticize the right.
You have the right. You have the right. But the thing is, when in time of war, when your opponent use slavery and use your family as a slave, would you hold on, please? Hold on,
made
my
peace
friend.
with the
I let you
Christian
finish.
kingdom of Mercuria.
I let you finish.
Asks for black
I let you
slaves
finish. I let you finish. Please. I let you finish. I let you finish. I let you finish. I can cry as well. I can shout. I let you finish. Please. Yes. Why? At that time, the slave has been used by opponents when in time of the war. Why the Muslim would not do the same?
But you just told you this wasn't a war.
It was okay. Who broke this treaty then? Who broke the treaty? Yes. Who broke it? Who broke it? Who broke it? Who broke? No, it is. It is important. Who broke the treaty? Who broke the treaty? Who?
I don't care who broke the
No, you have to.
No.
Yes, you have to.
Talking about during
Agree. The peace treaty. Who broke the treaty?
Who cares? The Nubians. I don't care.
You don't know. You don't care.
cares?
The Nubian broke the treaty.
Fine, the Nubians.
So when the Nubian broke the treaty and they're using the slave as weapon, you have the right to do the same.
He's talking about during the peace treaty.
Who broke the
What part are
treaty?
you not listening to?
You are part of the listening.
You just keep
Okay.
ignoring it.
Talk more.
Really, it's just not listening. When you say peace treaty, you just
No, I said who broke the treaty? The Nubians. No, I'm not. You don't care. The Nubian broke the treaty.
Okay, so I want to talk more about the threat of Salafi Muslims. Okay, the other bad thing about Salafi Muslims is that they adopt hadiths which oblige them to believe in very heinous things. So one of the hadiths that they place a lot of importance on is can be found in Jami at-Tirmidhi, book 39, hadith 2676, classification Sahih, which means authentic. And this is the hadith which says, whoever amongst you sees this, then he must stick to my sunnah and the sunnah of the rightly guided caliphs. Click it with their molars, or bite down to it with your molars. So this is what they draw. This is how they justify their idolization of the caliphs. And another one which the Salafis believe in can be found in Sunan Abu Dawud, book 41, hadith 4590, where it goes on to say, you must... Sorry. For those of you who live after me will see great disagreement. You must then follow my sunnah and that of the rightly guided caliphs. Hold to it and stick fast to it. Avoid novelties, for every novelty is an innovation and every innovation is an error. That's Sunan Abu Dawud, book 41, hadith 4590, classification Sahih. Okay?
Hold on.
And so, what are the consequences of this? We need to go to the consequences.
Give orders by law, and we're gonna.
Yeah, and so the result of idolizing the Salaf in this way
Do we have to obey
is-
when the president give orders by rules and regulations? Do we have to obey? Do we have to obey?
I want to make one more
Do we
thing.
have to obey?
I want to demonstrate to
You see
you
the double standard?
what the scholarly consensus was in the time of the Salaf. Because remember, Salafi Muslims believe that the Islam practiced by the Salaf was the purest and most noble and most ideal version of Islam in existence. That is what Salafi Muslims believe. And I am going to read what the Salafis believed. So this is a book of comparative Islamic jurisprudence. It is The Mercy in the Difference of the Four Schools of Sunni Islamic Law. It is written by Al-Qadi as-Safadi, who was the jurist in charge of Damascus in the Middle Ages. And so this is his chapter on military expeditions. And what it says is, the Imams agree. So this is the four Imams in charge of the four schools of Islamic jurisprudence. The Islams agree that jihad is a fard kifaya, which means, so a fard kifaya, fard is Arabic for obligatory. Kifaya means when it is undertaken by some Muslims, it is not as obligatory on other Muslims. Okay? They agree that the people of every frontier must fight the unbelievers close to them. Okay? I repeat, the four Imams agree that the people of every frontier must fight the unbelievers close to them. So, Salafi Islam believes that this Islam practiced by the Salaf is the ideal form of Islam, an Islam where all Muslims must make war on non-Muslims who are at the frontier near to them. That is not peaceful. That is warlike, aggressive. That's immoral. So this is what. So, well, if you say.
Relationship with states and there's relationship between people.
No, yeah,
so Islam's got a guidance
what about,
in terms of war, a guidance in terms of relationship with people, a guidance in terms of relationship with other states.
You misunderstand.
Because Muhammad,
I'm afraid you don't understand.
Had Jews living under him with the Sharia implemented.
Yes, because they were Dhimmi. Yes,
exactly.
but
what is a Dhimmi? What is a Dhimmi?
Of course,
explain a Dhimmi.
Okay, a Dhimmi is a non-Muslim subject of the Islamic State.
Okay, that's it.
Yes.
That's it.
Yes.
No,
But the four imams say that Muslims living in the Salaf time, Muslims must fight unbelievers in the frontier near to them. So it is saying that you must conquer the world. It's saying that you must make war against everyone.
I'm trying to explain what is a Dhimmi.
Okay.
Explain it to me and correct me if I'm wrong. Yes. Well, explain me what
I want to talk about this. So
because it's good for me to Dhimmi.
point by point, the final point I want to make is one. Salafi Muslims believe that the kind of Islam practiced by the Salaf, the first 3 generations of Muslims, was the most ideal and perfect form of Islam.
What is Salafi?
Please, can I have that back, sir?
He doesn't want to give it to me. What is
Okay.
Explain correctly what is a Dhimmi, please.
What is Salafi?
Can you explain
Can I have that back?
what is a Dhimmi? Can you explain what is a Dhimmi?
Salafi.
Or do you want me to explain what is a Dhimmi?
Excuse me, can I have that back?
What is Salafiyah? What is Salafiyah? Who are the Salaf?
Can you explain what is a Dhimmi?
Keep going on about
Excuse me,
Salafi.
sir, can I have that paper back?
Just looking at it. Leave him, man.
No,
leave
please, can I have
him,
it back?
leave him.
Islam about
No, it's not. It's not.
Leave
Leave him. Leave him.
Excuse me, sir.
Can you explain what is a Dhimmi,
What is
please?
a Salafi? What is Salafi?
Hold on.
Member of the crowd has taken one of my papers.
What is? Are you concerned about your paper?
Please, can you give me back my paper? Thank you very much. Okay.
Can you explain what is a Dhimmi, please?
Put it for you.
A Dhimmi,
Put it for him.
okay, thank you. Thank you very much. So, thank you very much. So,
in the Quran,
Explain, please, what is a Dhimmi? Yes.
the Quran said
non-Muslim
that the opponents
subject
of
of the
Islam
Islamic
and
State.
Muhammad
Okay?
said,
So,
That's it.
but,
where's
No,
the
please, I have to correct
for
you.
him, yes,
What
let
is a
him.
Dhimmi?
Man sha'a
okay.
Correct
So,
what is a Dhimmi? Please.
I'm sorry for the interruptions, everyone. I'm going to finish soon. My final point is, Salafi Muslims believe that the ideal form of Islam
I'm going to explain you what is a
practiced
Dhimmi.
by Muslims is that practiced by the first 3 generations of Muslims. The first 3 generations of Muslims believed that, according to their imams, they agree that the people of every frontier must fight the unbelievers close to them. This is telling Muslims to make war on Muslims who are nearby. This is what Salafi Muslims actually believe. This is what Salafi Muslims actually believe. So I'm going to finish now. My voice is a bit empty, but thank you, everyone. Yeah.
I know I'm going to hell.
I'm not a liar. I speak truth.
The best you can have is a red herring that's got nothing to do with the topic.
I told you.
No, you don't.
I told you.
No, you don't tell me. You didn't tell. A Dhimmi, you want me to say a Dhimmi?
Yeah, it's a non-Muslim subject of the
That's
Islamic
it?
State.
That's your definition?
Yeah.
That's your definition?
I agree.
No. In counterparty, what does Dhimmi has the right to do?
It depends.
It depends. Okay, go ahead.
It depends on which school of jurisprudence you follow.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay. I'll read out some of the rules
No
that
problem,
Jimmy...
go ahead.
And what is this going to prove? What is this going to prove?
It's going to prove that the Dhimmi has the
difference?
right to exercise freely his religion and freely his business.
What's that got to do with his point?
What was the what was in Europe? Was it the same in Europe for the Jew and the Muslims?
Do you know what a red
Was
herring
it the
is?
same
Do
for the
you
Christian
know-
and Muslims?
Yes. Do you know what a red herring is?
Where?
Do you know what a red herring is? Do you know what that is?
Yes.
What is a red herring? Tell me.
Herrings.
A red herring.
I don't
That's
know.
a logical fallacy that you are using.
Okay.
His point was about war. You're talking about something that has nothing to do with war.
So the
To the
Dhimmi,
topic.
I'm going to use your red fallacy.
You want me to tell you
You
about
don't
Dhimmi?
even know.
Yes, okay.
Try again.
So I
Because
will-
I'm going to
I will
prove
tell
your
them
history
one
you're wrong.
thing about
Yes,
Dhimmi.
yes, I'm sure you
Non-Muslims in the
know.
Islamic State. Okay.
Yeah, the Edict of Granada, 1492. Edict of Granada, 1492. Prove you that you were wrong.
Schools of Islamic law believe. Okay. They agree. They refers to the four imams, Shafi, Hanbali, Maliki, and Hanafi. These are the four imams who founded the four schools of Islamic law during the Salaf, the first 3 generations of Muslims. They agree that it is not permitted to build a new church or synagogue in cities in the land of Islam. Okay? So if you are a Muslim living in the Islamic State, you cannot build new churches. Imagine if we said to Muslims, you can't build new synagogues. That's what your Salaf did to non-Muslims. So,
No problem.
you know, it's apartheid.
No problem.
It's treating people as second-class citizens.
No problem. I'm going to use history. Yes. When?
You agree that it's apartheid?
Yes, I agree.
It's apartheid.
My friend, we stick to history.
So
My friend-
go live in South Africa and you know
I'm gonna stick
agree
to
with
history.
apartheid.
I'm gonna stick.
Apartheid is
I'm
evil,
gonna stick to
dude.
history. What happened when the Muslims, the Fatimids, destroyed the Holy Church in Jerusalem? What happened? What happened?
I'm tired now.
What happened? What happened?
I've been here for 2 hours,
When
dude.
Hold on. When the Fatimids, when the Fatimids destroyed the Holy Church of the Christ in Jerusalem, what happened?
Make him happy. Just say Christianity.
What happened?
Doesn't make you
What happened?
in the story.
What happened?
Can you repeat that?
I said when the Fatimid Empire destroyed the Holy Church of Christ in Jerusalem. What happened?
I know, were they punished or something?
No, they rebuilt it. You see?
What does that prove?
You don't know your history? Huh?
What does that prove?
That's a proof. That's proof that realistically, church and synagogue will continue to be built.
No, that doesn't mean a new church has been built.
Oh yeah? Okay, you go. Okay,
That means what one. That means if
I am
that
from
means
Tunisia.
If a pre-existing church is knocked down
If it's not
illegally,
the case-
then in the past it was rebuilt. But that doesn't mean that
it's not the
Jews
case-
or
if
Christians
it's not
were
the
allowed to
case-
build new churches.
if it's not the
They had
case,
they weren't
the
allowed.
synagogue-
Only
the
you know
synagogue in
Muslims were
Tunisia,
allowed.
where
That's
the
you know
synagogue of-
apartheid.
The synagogue of Tunisia, when was we built? The synagogue of Tunisia, when was we built? When? Yes, when? I ask you.
If it's not during the first 3 generations of the Muslims, then it's not during the Salaf, and I'm talking about Salafi Muslims.
When the synagogue of the synagogue was built in Tunisia, when?
Tell me.
Yes, you know what?
Tell me.
13th century.
So that's not the Salaf. So that's not the Salaf, is it? That's not the Salaf. Why?
Ah, yes, was not the Salaf?
The 13th century is not during the Salaf, is it?
Sorry?
The 13th century is not during the Salaf.
Are you sure? In Tunisia?
The 13th century.
Who was managing the
Who
You doesn't know your history.
who was alive amongst the Sahaba, the Tabi'in, or the Tabi'in during the 13th century?
Ah, yeah, that's what
No
you call
one.
the Sahaba.
Exactly.
The Salaf.
Exactly. So the Salaf weren't alive. So it's not about the Salaf.
No.
So you aren't contradicting me.
Someone is Salafi, someone just follow the Salafi.
No, I'm talking about
Sahaba.
No, I'm talking about the actual Salaf. I'm not saying Salafi. I'm saying Salaf. Anyway.
Shouting loudly and bringing up red herrings is a response.
I mean, I shouted loudly. Oh, you know what'll be interesting? Seeing which parts of me like being rude to Adnan they edit out, because definitely,
The whole thing,
but definitely like obviously some they'll like grandstand and be like, oh look at the bad manners, like blah blah. But other parts like I know I don't think they like being
Adnan
mocked
just
like
shouts
that.
loudly. He didn't make a single point. He made red herrings as well. It's clear that the Quran has got a numerical error with the inheritance, and the only way they can correct it is by the scholars reducing the amounts.
Yes.
That's not what it says in the Quran.
Yeah.
But listen to them. They have to tap dance around, shout red herrings.
They aren't even willing to say that because they
Of
know.
course not.
Yeah, when
Shows an error.
I actually made their argument for them and said, look, I'll tell you what the scholars have come up with. I'll tell you what memory is. It's like, oh, so you don't know, and it's like.
Yeah, I know.